What's up guys, my name is Saman Habibi, your Oshawa real estate expert, and today I'm going to be taking you through the top 3 areas that you should be investing in here in Oshawa. These are areas that I firmly believe in and I invest in personally myself. So let's go on a tour, and today I'm going to show you all these areas. Right now we're standing in front of Lake Ontario. Behind me is Lake Ontario, and the reason why I like this park in general, this is the Lakeview Park, is because a lot of activity happens here. So when we're talking about Canada Day festivities, it happens here. When we're talking about the Oshawa Rib Fest, it happens here. And more importantly, we have a big beach right on Lake Ontario. So right to the left of me, we have the Oshawa Port, where a lot of business is actually happening. A lot of the freight boats are coming in with goods that get distributed towards the rest of the Ontario. And to the other side of us, we have Toronto, and actually on a very bright and sunny day, you can see the CN Tower from here. So it's a very nice area to come and relax, and it's also equipped with a lot of trails that people are either walking on, biking on, or skateboarding on. So it's a very popular area, and this is one of my favorite spots to come to in Oshawa. So let's go, hop in my car, and we're going to go tour some of the neighborhoods that I was talking to you about and give you a street view of what these areas look like. Alright guys, so the first neighborhood we are going to is called the Donovan neighborhood. The reason why I love this neighborhood is because it's very close to the 401. So as you get off the 401, it's maybe a 2 to 4 minute drive to get into the neighborhood. A lot of the homes in the area are on larger lots. You know, we'll show you some of the lots and you can see what I'm talking about. You know, one of the other factors that comes into play is the owner-occupied portion of this neighborhood. So there are more people who own, about 60% of the properties are owned by owners. So there are less tenants in the neighborhood, which means it's a fairly attractive neighborhood when it comes to sell or refinance your property. So, you know, this helps our case a lot because when other homes in the neighborhood are selling, they're often selling for more because the person purchasing is an end user. They have an emotional attachment to it, unlike investors where they're just numbers focused. So in this neighborhood, a lot of the homes selling, someone's buying it, they have an emotional attachment, so they're paying a premium for it. And I would say lastly, the other thing that I like about the neighborhood is that it's surrounded by creeks in the area. So as a result, you know, there's trails, there's areas with high trees. So if you want to go for a walk, you know, you often have a scenic view to see. So that's why I've placed Donovan as one of my top 3 neighborhoods, mainly due to its proximity to the highway and the size of the lots that come in the neighborhood. So let's go to some of the streets in the area and drive around. All right, so we crossed one of the main intersections in Oshawa, the Olive and Harmony intersection, and that takes us into the Donovan neighborhood. We are going through a typical street that you'll see here. As mentioned, the lots are larger here. You know, as you can see here, someone has taken a bungalow and put an addition on it, this nice gray and black house that you see. There's a lot of trees and mature trees in the neighborhood. I would say that this is this is an area where there's a lot of retired people living here. So, you know, a lot of the neighbors here likely worked at Oshawa at some point and now living in a home that they've owned for a while. Developments happening right across the street. You're going to see the Symphony Towns. You'll see the construction here. All the workers are parked on the grass area. But essentially what's happening is they're building townhomes in the area. Going back to the point of it attracting more people and a newer demographic. So that was one neighborhood that we looked at, and we'll go to another neighborhood in the Donovan neighborhood just so you can see the fact that the neighborhood does look similar from one block to another. So I would say that the Donovan neighborhood is a a fairly consistent neighborhood, and you're going to see a consistent pattern in terms of homes, lot sizes, and the type of streets. You know, there's definitely pride of ownership here. A lot of people, as I said, the owner occupancy also results in people taking care of their house, whether it's the landscaping, the exterior of the house, and so on. This neighborhood that we're going into is a very popular neighborhood for myself. I show a lot of properties in this area. As you can see, people are, you know, making capital improvements to their house over here. Again, there's a nice landscaping out front. You're going to see that the lots are larger. Shelley Avenue is a street that I've recently sold a property to one of my investor clients. Helped clients purchase properties in this neighborhood, help them do the duplex conversion, and help them sell properties, help them find tenants in the neighborhood, and it's a very attractive neighborhood. And like I said, all the things that we've talked about, but you know, I find one of the reasons why investors like it is mainly because of the lot size. They're larger lots, so a lot of people are speculating the garden suites, and this neighborhood does have the minimum 50-foot frontage that you would probably want to have in a property that you're buying with those intentions. So in my opinion, this neighborhood, there aren't any streets that I would stay away from. I would say any street here is a safe bet. Of course, you know, we have to do our due diligence to make sure that we're buying properties with the right frontage, so we can do the different strategies that we're trying to achieve. But I would say there's no scare in the Donovan area. There are train tracks nearby, but I personally have not seen the train tracks have a material impact on prices. So, you know, the myth is that if you're close to a train track, people are not going to want to purchase. I personally have offered on properties where we're close to train tracks, and it seems that prices, you know, the train tracks don't have an impact on price. All right, guys, so we've learned about the Donovan neighborhood, and now we're driving to mid Oshawa, to a neighborhood called McLaughlin. The reason why I like the McLaughlin neighborhood is because it's very, it's in the middle of Oshawa, so we're fairly close to North Oshawa, and towards the south where the highway and the GO train is located. The reason why people like the McLaughlin neighborhood from an investment perspective, again, we go back to having larger lots, but also the basements. So a lot of the properties, or you know, the builder who built the McLaughlin neighborhood, they put in, you know, big ceilings in their basements, which works great for people with the strategy of completing the duplex conversion. A lot of the ceilings in the McLaughlin neighborhood are, you know, 7.2, 7.3. As a result, you know, you don't need to worry about height restrictions when it comes to the basement. You don't need to alter things like HVAC in order to get your ceiling height. So from a height perspective in the basement, it's great. The lots are large, it's great. So a lot of the risks right away are mitigated when it comes to doing a duplex conversion. In terms of the neighborhood itself, there are great schools, high-ranking schools, and there's nice trails in the area where you can go out and enjoy, you know, being outside. In terms of proximity, again, it's closer to the highway and the future GO train that's going to be coming into Oshawa. So those are bonuses. If people who live in Oshawa have kids that want to go to the university, which is in North Oshawa, the accessibility to the GO bus system is very evident. You know, you get onto one of the main roads here, which would be, let's say, Roslyn. There's a lot of bus routes on Roslyn, which make it convenient for people. Besides that, again, you're going to notice that the pride of ownership is definitely evident. We'll go down a street here where you're going to see that people are, you know, taking care of their property. They've got, you know, the roofs are recently done, the lawns are recently done, the landscaping is there. So a lot of things that make it attractive for end users and investors to invest in. So we're going down a street called Fernhill Boulevard. As I said, the neighborhoods I'm taking you to today are areas that I'm extremely bullish on, I believe in. In the Donovan area, I told you that I owned a property in the Donovan area. We're in McLaughlin. I own a property in the McLaughlin neighborhood, and actually Fernhill, which we're driving down right now. So if you turn around, you're gonna see a house on your right-hand side with the dump truck. So that's a property that I have that we're working on. As you can see, large lot. We've done some paint work to the outside of the house, but you know, just driving down the street, you're going to notice, you know, a lot of the homes with the same things that I was talking about: large lots, pride of ownership, people taking care of their property, and it just makes it very, very attractive, very attractive neighborhood. A lot of the bungalows here are the 1950s, 60s bungalows, which a lot of investors are raving about, but also, you know, the mature owners. So people who are downsizing from their 2-story home, who need less stairs, those homes are available here. Another thing that would be attractive about the McLaughlin neighborhood is that it's very close to the Oshawa Center, which is the main shopping center here in Oshawa. I believe they're around 1 million square foot in terms of coverage, and it has all the stores that you would need if they're, you know, looking for things to do in the evening or on the weekend. So, you know, one of the things that people love to do in the area. So we'll get on one of the main roads. So right now we are turning onto Finnecane Street, and we're gonna get on Roslyn, which is a main road that travels east-west. And from Roslyn and Stevenson, we're gonna go towards the Oshawa Center, and you can see the Oshawa Center and some of the surrounding neighborhoods. So enjoy the ride down Stevenson as we go towards the Oshawa Center. So the McLaughlin area, similar to the Donovan area, I would say the properties, the bungalows that we are interested in purchasing are, I would say from a price perspective, they're around $7 to $750 to purchase. I'm always assuming a $100K renovation budget, just to be, you know, conservative. I've seen people do it for cheaper. I've seen people do it for more. So I'm saying 100K to be safe. So that brings our total cost of investment to around $850. Let's say we put in another 10K for holding costs. However, because these two neighborhoods are considered to be A type of neighborhoods, the resale value and the appraisal values are also a lot higher. So, you know, someone might watch this video and say, you know, you're crazy to spend 700K on a property in Oshawa, but the resale and the appraisals are coming in at the low 9s to mid 900,000. So what I tell people is that the numbers work. When I know it may seem extreme as to what we're paying for properties here, but again, we go back to the point of it's cheapest in Durham, it's cheapest in the GTA, and when we look at some of the similar type of neighborhoods like the Scarboroughs that are by the water, or the Etobicoke area in the GTA, those areas, to find similar properties, you're above $1 million. So there's still room for growth and room for appreciation here, which is why I'm very bullish on these areas, and I'm in fact telling my clients that it is still safe to purchase these properties for $700K and still put in a healthy renovation budget. So we are going through a main intersection here, and after the main intersection, you're going to notice the Oshawa Center that I was talking to you about. So this area is the Stevenson and King intersection, and just to the left of us is the Oshawa Center. This is where a lot of people will do their, you know, shopping. There is you know, staples like the Bay shopping store. There's a lot of the same retailers that you would see at any other shopping center. There are banks, there are restaurants in the neighborhood, so it's a very attractive area for people to come to, whether they need to do shopping, restaurants, entertainment, whatever it may be. There's a keg nearby, and yeah, and this street will naturally just take us down to the highway. All right, guys, so we've gone through the Donovan neighborhood, we've gone through McLaughlin, and now we're going to one of the areas that I'm most bullish about, and that's the Lakeview neighborhood. That's by the water, very close to Lake Ontario. And the reason why I like this area is because I said it's close to Lake Ontario, and it's a very mature neighborhood. So there's a lot of retired gym employees in the area. You'll notice that there's a lot more people on the streets walking around, and very close to the highway as well. So as we're driving towards the Lakeview neighborhood, if we turn around, we're gonna see evidence of GM. So this is where the GM plants are located, and as we get closer, you will see that GM actually has banners up as they are opening up more plants and hiring more, looking for more employees in the neighborhood. So we are about to drive through essentially GM town. So, you know, as we're driving down, just picture that in the 80s, this area was absolutely booming. There was a lot of people. There's, you know, north of 30,000 people working in this area. But now times are a bit different, and the economics of Oshawa are also different. So we are no longer dependent on GM as an employment factor. And when I say dependent, we're no longer mainly dependent on GM. GM accounts for around 6% of the economy here in Oshawa. Most of employment comes from healthcare with the Lakeview Health Association, where they have, you know, 4 different hospitals in the area, and also the university and college. So healthcare and education accounts for nearly 35% of the economy here. So, you know, although we're driving through GM town right here, a lot of the existing plants that you'll see are no longer in I guess operation, but nevertheless, the land is still here, the buildings are still here. I would imagine that if a new manufacturing company wanted to, you know, open up in Ontario, the existing facilities that GM has would be a great place for them to, you know, bring their business, because a lot of these plants are ISO certified. They meet the requirements that, you know, the manufacturing industry would have. It would just be a matter of designing and building the existing buildings to essentially achieve what you need to achieve as a business. So right now we're driving south on Stevenson, and we're going towards the water, and we'll go into some of the neighborhoods and show you some of the properties that the Lakeview neighborhood has to offer. A lot of these homes are again going to be, you know, the bungalows that are very attractive for investors, and, you know, I'm always pushing investors to focus on this area because it's a lakefront neighborhood, and tenants like to be in this area because it's close to the water and it's walking distance to the Lakeview park that we were at earlier. All right, guys, thank you for watching today's video. In this video, you know, we talked about some of the neighborhoods that I'm extremely bullish on, and that's being the Donovan neighborhood, the McLaughlin neighborhood, and the Lakeview neighborhood. And, you know, a lot of this goes back to, you know, the infrastructure that's around these neighborhoods and the type of properties that we're buying. The infrastructure allows for people to essentially have accessibility, and the type of properties that we're buying allow us to do the duplex conversion. So thank you for watching. I'm Saman Habibi, your Oshawa real estate expert. If you have any questions, all my socials are below, or call me directly at 905-449-4242. Thank you for watching.